Good morning, and we're in section 104 today. Finished 105 yesterday, and we're going back in time, I guess, into April. Um, as you see, they didn't just have one thing on their mind; they had a lot of other things besides just Zion Camp. So this is just before Zion's Camp, and it's a revelation to Joseph Smith, the prophet, at or near Kirtland, Ohio. um, in April 23, 1834, concerning the United Firm. So you can see the headings 78 and 82, just talking about the United Firm, when it is set up. It is set up for the um, establishment of the church and also for the uh, feeding the poor, and taking care of the poor, it should say, not just feeding them. The occasion was likely that of the council meeting of members of the United Firm, which discussed the pressing temporal needs of the church. An earlier meeting of the firm on April 10th um, had resolved that the organization should be dissolved. This revelation directs the firm that the firm instead be reorganized. Its purposes were to be divided among the members of the firm as their stewardships. Under Joseph Smith's direction, the phrase United Firm was later replaced with United Order in the Revelation. And a lot of that I think we've discussed before about how the United Firm and United Order reasons for changing it, kind of legal reasons as much as anything, I think, because the firm was more looked at as something of a business rather than kind of like when people use charity, like a charity, even if they're a business, if they're doing it for a charity reason, they will be called a charity rather than a business, uh, in my eyes, anyway. Um, let's get right into it. It's very much um, about the United Firm, and it's probably one, or United Order, and very much one that might have been um, quite significant then. And I don't think it is as much that now, but there is a lot that we can get from this because it's talking about how do we um, share our abundance, I guess is the right word. How can we give to others and share what we have, whether it's financial or in our time and or just emotional support sometimes. What is it that we can do? We can look at it in that sense as well. Verily I say unto you, my friends, I give unto you a counsel and a commandment concerning all the properties which belong to the order which I commanded to be organized and established to be a united order, an everlasting order, for the benefit of my church, for the salvation of men until I come, with promise immutable and unchangeable, that inasmuch as those whom I commanded were faithful, should be blessed with the multiplicity of blessings. I think we will find that um, repeated many times in this. I didn't catch that the first time, but we'll see later on that there's many times when that's mentioned. But inasmuch as they are not faithful, they are nigh unto cursing. Therefore, inasmuch as some of my servants have not kept the commandment, but have broken the covenant through covetousness and with feigned words, I have cursed them with the very sore curse and grievous curse. I haven't looked up what that specifically is talking about, but it's to assume that some of the people just did not run their part of the firm the way they should have. Um, For I, the Lord, have decreed in my heart that inasmuch as any man belonging to the order shall be found a transgressor, or, in other words, shall break the covenant which ye are bound, he shall be cursed in his life, and shall be trodden down, by whom I will. For I, the Lord, am not to be mocked in these things. And all this, that the innocent among you may not be condemned with the unjust, and the guilty among you may, and that the guilty among you may not escape, because I, the Lord, have promised unto you a crown of glory at my right hand. Therefore, inasmuch as you are found transgressors, you cannot escape my wrath in your lives. Inasmuch as you are cut off from transgression, you cannot escape the buffetings of Satan until the day of redemption. Um, and that goes back to, I think, 76 talks about that, but let's just see if I haven't even looked. 82 does a little bit. Um, anyway, I'm just not gonna, it does say that if uh, sins against this covenant and hardeneth his heart against it, shall be dealt with according to the laws of my church, and shall be delivered over to the buffetings of Satan until the day of redemption. So uh, it was said earlier, and it seems in 82 that was about the United Order as well. And I now give unto you power from this very hour, that if any man among you of the order is found a transgressor, and repenteth not of the evil, that ye shall deliver him over to the buffetings of Satan, and he shall not have power to bring evil upon you. Basically, he's saying by separating everybody and having their stewardship separate, much like they've already done with many people in the land of Zion. Um, Instead of all being tied to this united order and a united firm, and um, having not a real stewardship, they're saying give them the stewardship, and then if they do something wrong with it, it's their fault. Basically, I guess that's what I'm getting from it. Anyway, um, and if they do that, then they're not tied so strongly to the church. If something gets printed in a printer and it's somebody else's stewardship, they're responsible for it, not the church itself. I think that's what I'm getting from all this. It is wisdom in me, therefore, a command it is wisdom in me. Therefore a commandment I give unto you, that ye shall organize yourselves and appoint every man his stewardship, that every man may give an account unto me of the stewardship which is appointed unto him. See, he's saying it's going to have your responsibility. You can't just fall back and um, say, oh, it's all the church's responsibility. You have your own stewardship to worry about. For it is expedient that I, the Lord, should make every man accountable as a steward over earthly blessings, which I have made and prepared for my creatures. I, the Lord, stretched out the heavens and built the earth, my very handiwork, and all things therein are mine. And it is my purpose to provide for my saints, for all things are mine, but it must needs be done in mine own way. And behold, this is the way that I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints. I'm sorry. Ah, sometimes doing this, it just likes to go all the way out and do something dumb. Where were we? To provide for my saints, for all things are mine. But it must needs be done in mine own way. And behold, this is the way that I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints, that the poor shall be exalted, in that the rich are made low. For the earth is full, and there is enough to spare. Yea, I prepared all things, and have given unto children of men to be agents unto themselves. This is a reassurance that we can always have, that there is that enough to spare, um, and it's and that the earth is full, and that it is the Lord's. Therefore, if any man shall take of the abundance which I have made, and impart not his portion according to the law of my gospel unto the poor and the needy, he shall with the wicked lift up his eyes in hell, and hell being tormented. That kind of goes back to the story of the rich man and Lazarus. And the rich man sees Lazarus in the up in heaven, basically, and after a life of not taking care of or not taking care of the poor and needy. Anyway, I believe that that's where he's talking about there, or um, alluding to there. And now, verily I say unto you concerning the properties of the order. And now we're going to get into the actual just um, nuts and bolts of it, and we'll continue that tomorrow as well, but we'll finish off a few of these. Let my servant Sidney Rigdon have appointed unto him the place where he now resides. So up to this point, that was all part of the United Firm. That it, um, they had a place to stay. They had um, some something that they were doing. So it says place now where he now resides, and the lot of the tannery for his stewardship, for his support while he is laboring in my vineyard, even as I will when I shall command him. Now, I don't know if he actually worked in the tannery or if he just owned the lot, but what and what was going on before that, but it does seem like he's getting the um, rental of the space almost, um, for his support. So he doesn't seem to be in the day to day having to do the tannery work itself as much as being like the uh, managing director or something, making sure it's done. And then when he goes out, they can continue with the work as he's laboring in the Lord's vineyard. Let all things be done according to the counsel of the order and the united consent of the voice of the order, which dwell in the land of Kirtland. Notice he separates it there, the land of Kirtland, rather than Zion, the land of Zion or independence. Instead, they're just talking specifically at this point, land of Kirtland. Um, and this stewardship and blessing I, the Lord, confer upon my servant Sidney Rigdon, for a blessing upon him and his seed after him. And notice this is going to be repeated several times. Um, I will multiply blessings upon him, inasmuch as he will humble before me. And again, I let my servant Martin Harris have appointed unto him for his stewardship the lot of land which my servant John Johnson obtained in exchange for his former inheritance, for him and his seed after him. So it seems that Martin Harris is on, I guess, the John Johnson farm. Um, Inasmuch as he is faithful, I will multiply blessings upon him and his seed after him. Let my servant Martin Harris devote his monies for the proclaiming of my words, according to according as my servant Joseph Smith Jr. shall direct. And again, let my servant Frederick G. Williams have the place upon which he now dwells. And let my servant Oliver Cowdery have a lot which is set off adjoining the house which is to be the for the printing office, which is lot number 1, and also lot upon which his father resides. So we have here the printing office. The printing office is in lot number 1. In other words, it's really close to the temple that's being built. Let my servants Frederick G. Williams and Oliver Cowdery have the printing office and all things that pertain unto it. And this shall be their stewardship which shall be appointed them. And inasmuch as they are faithful, behold, I will bless and multiply blessings upon them. Notice it keeps repeating this, multiply blessings. Um, I just think it's as this. It seems to me that as most businesses, organizations, let's say organizations, evolve, there is always a change that needs to develop. What wasn't needed before is needed now, and I feel that this is what the Lord is doing now. Is He's securing up the firm a little bit more, um, and He's promising them as they do this, if they do this, um, that He will bless them. Um, and I think sometimes we'll be called on to do different things, and as we're faithful, we will have those multiplicity of blessings. Just one note before we finish: there is two videos in the Come Follow Me that are good to watch with the context of these scriptures today. Um, and so I hope today that you'll be able to go throughout the day and see a multiplicity of blessings. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.